Plenty to get to here on Golden State Warriors today, so let's get it. Appreciate all of you for joining us. I'm Chase Sr. Your support of the program means a lot. Let's start off talking about Andrew Wiggins here and his future with the Golden State Warriors, which could be in question. And also at the end of the show, we're going to do some Warriors draft talk. Could Golden State draft Bronny James or not? Because Bronny James wants to go to two teams. As for this new report on Andrew Wiggins, the Warriors going to actively shop him, according to NBA insider for Forbes Sports, Sidery. He said this recently, that the Warriors are expected to actively look to trade Andrew Wiggins this offseason. Wiggins has $84.7 million remaining on his contract over the next 3 years, and with the emergence of Jonathan Kuminga, Golden State will attempt to offload Wiggins for a better fit. That is pretty telling to me. You have a couple of things working against Andrew Wiggins. Number one, he has not played well for this basketball team since signing that contract, coming off the heels of that NBA playoff run when the Warriors won the title, in which Andrew Wiggins was fantastic on both ends of the floor. He certainly earned that deal, and I get it. He's had a lot of family problems, some injury issues over the last 2 years, but look, this is a business. And when you sign that lofty deal and you don't live up to expectations, and then point number two, when you have the emergence of Jonathan Kuminga, who can take your spot, where do you fit at that price tag when you also consider a lot of teams in the NBA can take on that deal and are looking for wing help? So right now, to me, if I have my read and reading the tea leaves, it seems like Andrew Wiggins might not be a part of the Warriors' 2024-2025 plans. We're only ramping up and getting started on today's show, but first, let's hear from you. If you want Golden State to make a big splash move this offseason, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. As for Andrew Wiggins and what he's done over the last 2 years, numbers in serious decline. And this is a move that originally worked out for Golden State. You can't tell me otherwise, because they won the NBA championship, the fourth in this dynastic run for Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr. But since signing that deal, these last 2 years, not only have the numbers gone down, it's been concerning how bad Andrew Wiggins has been and how much he has lacked confidence. In 2022, 2023, he had the situation with his family. Because of that, only played in 37 games, was also injured. 17 points per game, 5 assists, still contributing defensively with 1.2 steals, 47% from the floor, 39.5% from three. But the eye test told me he just wasn't the same player, and lacking that confidence, again, probably has to do with him being in a mentally fragile spot. But a year later, no excuses. 71 games played, struggled to find his role, could not find a rhythm. Once again, lacking that confidence that we saw appear in the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics. And the minutes were down to 27 minutes per game on a team that was talent bereft. 13 points per game, 4.5 assists, a half steal, 45% from the floor, less than 36% from three-point range. And I think that the leave of absence really affected Andrew Wiggins' game. So could a change of scenery help him out a little bit more? Also, you look at the advanced shooting numbers, and for a wing, you got to be able to do a couple of things. You got to be able to create off the bounce. Andrew Wiggins couldn't do that. You got to be able to create and play make a little bit for others. He gives this team something good defensively, but the offensive game, way too Jekyll and Hyde. The catch and shoot, three-point percentage, 35.6%. 10 feet to the three-point line, field goal numbers, 35%. That should be a money range for him. And then in the past, we've seen that pull-up jump shot work for Andrew Wiggins. Did not last year. 29.1%. So Wings got to be able to score off the bounce in this league increasingly, especially when you have a standstill shooter and Klay Thompson who barely dribbles, Draymond Green who's not going to create, and you have to find some options who can help out Steph Curry. What did we see a little bit from Jonathan Kuminga? He was able to do that. And the issue with Andrew Wiggins, I talk about him being a solid defensive player. That's still the case, but it is worsened by 8.5 points since 2021, 2022. And then going back to that point that I made a little bit earlier, you have Wiggins declining, Jonathan Kuminga ascending. Jonathan Kuminga is finally starting to tap into his potential that I told you here on the show. When I built this damn channel up to 60,000 subscribers, I said, Jonathan Kuminga can be a star. Jonathan Kuminga can be a championship-level piece. He's young. He's inexperienced. He hasn't played a lot of basketball in his life. He had to get over some of those maturity issues. Now that he's done that, he's earned the trust of Steve Kerr. And in letting go of Andrew Wiggins, what does this do? You're taking a risk in banking on Jonathan Kuminga. But man, I think with more minutes, he can really become an impact player. What Wiggins should have been, kind of a Jonathan Kuminga type of player. Elite footwork, wing, who could score off the dribble, score off the bounce, solid point of attack defender who could suffocate opponents without fouling. And then Jonathan Kuminga last year, career highs in points per game, in rebounds per game, in assists per game, steals per game, and field goal numbers in 2023, 2024. Because Golden State did not make the playoffs, a lot of casuals didn't watch this team as much. And a lot of NBA casuals don't realize these numbers for Jonathan Kuminga pretty damn good. 16 points per game. I think that he can get better in rebounding the basketball. I love the efficiency on his field goal numbers, 52.9%. Can he improve the three-point numbers? The three-point shooting must improve for him to really take that next leap. The defense is there. Athleticism is there. He can play off ball. He could be that pick and pop guy. He could be that pick and roll guy, the lob threat, the backdoor cutter. But you start to hone in and improve on the three-point numbers, he becomes more difficult to guard. And then the Warriors' offense becomes more difficult to defend. And it gives you that scoring punch and that option on both ends of the floor that can make this Warriors team more dangerous. Strike fear into the opponent. So should the Warriors trade Andrew Wiggins to basically open up an opportunity here for Jonathan Kuminga? Why for yes and for no? Let me know down in the comment section. Coming up next, what is Andrew Wiggins' trade value? Stay tuned for that. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. With Prize Picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game by watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in, baby. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every week. From lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays on Taco Tuesday, which increases your chances of getting a win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. The finals coming up, they mean more on Prize Picks. So do the star players, man. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. Some selections that we like for some Thursday NBA action, in addition to a Taco Tuesday UFC pick. How about Dustin Poirier? More than a half significant strike. As long as he doesn't get knocked out in the first couple of seconds, that John hitting. Anthony Edwards, more than 28.5 points against the Mavericks. Game 5, Series 3-1 Dallas. And then Luka Doncic, more than 8.5 assists. Win big money? Withdraw your winnings. Pick more, pick less. Pick Prize Picks as your daily fantasy sports go-to. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Here's what Zach Lowe had to say about Wiggins in April of 2024. He's got those 3 years, almost $90 million left on the deal, just completed a mostly disappointing season. His salary would be handy in any major trade, but rivals might view his contract as a net negative and ask the Warriors to attach an asset to compensate. And that is a harsh reality and a reality that is true. You have a player who's declined the last 2 years. You have a player who should be an elite defender. And his defensive rating, it has slipped. Plus, he's very expensive. Mentally, how's he doing? And what's weird is that the last couple of years, he's had these weird pre and post All-Star splits where you kind of don't know what player you're going to be getting. Now, post All-Star break, he was really good last year. But remember when he was a first-time All-Star a couple of years ago? It was the opposite. His numbers before the All-Star game were great, and then he declined after the All-Star break. But those post-All-Star numbers, can Golden State use that to their advantage in trade talks? And can they say, look, once he started to come back a little bit from some personal and family issues, he did start to play a little bit better, a solid sample size, 29 games played. We saw the spark come back and Andrew Wiggins on and off the floor, almost 15 points per game, 46% from the hardwood, and 38% from three-point range. My opinion here, I thought he rose the stock a bit after the All-Star break. You can use that as a little bit of leverage and gives a better chance at returning some value back in a trade. Probably not an all-star level piece. But again, can Kuminga become that all-star level piece? And are you trading away Andrew Wiggins to free up opportunities for Kuminga? That could be a net win after the net negative that Zach Lowe did talk about. Now, teams that could have interest in Andrew Wiggins, Philadelphia 76ers, Dallas Mavericks, Milwaukee Bucks. I like the Milwaukee Bucks as a fit there. The Mavs and Bucks reportedly had interest at the deadline. You already have your Wiggins replacement. So you try to flip Wiggins here and draft capital for multiple rotation pieces to add depth to your team, because the Warriors have not had that depth on their team. Next story to get to here on the show. Should Golden State draft the son of LeBron James, Bronny James? Now, there are interesting developments in the pre-draft process for Bronny. As of this Wednesday, it's confirmed. He's going to stay in the NBA draft, even though he barely did anything in his lone season playing college basketball. Here's what Shams Charania had to say. Bronny James has over 10 workout invites. I'm told he's only going to visit a couple of those, and that's going to include the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. This is really a classic clutch sports move by Rich Paul. Of course, LeBron James is a part of that. It's all about leverage at this point, and it's about giving power to the player for where he can go. And if Bronny James wants to go to two places, the Lakers, the Suns, what is Clutch Sports going to do? They're going to allow those two teams to get the intel on Bronny James, and according to reports, the Suns might draft him in the first round. Jason Dumas, Bay Area sports reporter, according to a source, I've been told that the Golden State Warriors are not among the group of those workout invites extended to Bronny James. This does not mean that Golden State has not done work, won't do their due diligence in scouting and maybe drafting Bronny James. They might know everything that they need to know about Bronny James. But it's been a question that we've seen in the comment section here on the show, so we did want to talk about Bronny James and the possibilities of him getting drafted by Golden State. As for some pre-draft workouts confirmed for the Warriors, these pre-draft workouts on Wednesday, Jermaine Cousinard out of Oregon, Isaiah Crawford, Louisiana Tech, Malik Dia out of Belmont, Sam Griffin, Wyoming, Miles Kelly, Georgia Tech, and Trey Mitchell out of Kentucky. I do actually think that Bronny's fit within this Warriors scheme wouldn't be that bad as a depth piece at number 52. I would consider it. As for the players in that group working out with the Dubs, we do kind of like Jermaine Cousinard a little bit. What's also interesting here is that if you draft Bronny James, could you open up the avenue in which Golden State could sign LeBron James? Because as we know, LeBron James has talked about openly wanting to play with Bronny James. That's an interesting wrinkle here, where if LeBron in the coming weeks before the draft says, Steph, I'd like to play with you. I'm going to opt out of my player option. Might go to Golden State. Could the Warriors try to persuade him in coming to the Warriors by drafting his son? Because LeBron has also openly advocated about his desires and wanting to play with Steph Curry and the respect that he has as the two best players in this generation, which is starting to flip now into the new era of Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic and some of these other young players that we've seen blossom in the NBA playoffs. Who should the Warriors draft at pick number 52? Who is your guy? Join the conversation down in the comment section. And don't forget to hit that sub button. The Content Daddy is back here on the show. See ya.